Now, the other issue I wanted to talk to you about, people who watch the show on a regular basis, you probably saw this clip. I was actually taken aback by it at first a little bit when Tracy said it, and then we didn't have a chance to really get into it, but I know you now have some explanation. The Luigi Mangione case here in New York, Tracy's been on as an expert talking about this case, the guy accused of murdering the United Healthcare CEO, and this is what you said when you were on our show recently about what was happening to you. Let's watch.
I have never received more death threats in my life than I have because of what I have said
Really?
About Luigi Mangione. That is the
on social media, you mean, and stuff like that?
Showing up at my daughter's school because of this. And that is fascinating to me and is really showing the level of rhetoric and the awful, awful precedents that this sets.
Yes, it is, all of those things. But since then, you've done some kind of investigation on your own and found out what was really going on. Can you tell us the story? Because it's interesting.
Sure. Sorry, it's a little long. So, I think it first started, I was on your show when I believe he was first caught, I think, and you and I were talking about potential motives, right? Why would he do something like this? Was he someone who was denied care? Was he covered by United Healthcare? Kind of all of those questions. And I think I had focused on a post that he made on X with his back x-ray that was in it. And I mentioned that could be a motive, but there was really no excuse for it. I had had the same surgery. It's painful, but it doesn't beget murder. I think that was the gist of what I had said. And so then I went to X and I reposted that interview that we had done, as well as, my experiences with this surgery. And someone that I had worked with, or was a student of mine in the past, she's 27 now, saw that and actually reposted it along with Mrs. Walder, you used to basically brag about killing babies with drones, which is obviously not something I ever did. I wonder whose body count is higher.
So referring to the time you spent serving our country, by the way, as a CIA officer, but this was someone that, you were a teacher after you left the FBI and the CIA. So someone you had taught?
Yeah, so it was really interesting. I actually left the FBI and the CIA to become a teacher. That's actually what I had always wanted to do. So I was really working in my dream career, and that post got 7 million views.
Wow.
And that's what had started all of the death threats, because I couldn't figure out, where it was coming from.
Yeah, how it kind of, people say went viral, but I mean, it says something about where we are in the country, this case, the way people have reacted to it. But once it was out there and 7 million people viewed it, then you're saying there were replies to you that were just terrible stuff. That's what, but what's going on here with this case? I mean, what have you taken away from all this?
I think it goes back even farther than this case, to be completely honest with you. And I think maybe it's because I'm old and Generation X. I don't know. But, look, I worked at CIA on September 11th, right? And I fought in the war on terror. Sometimes I did things that I look back on that, maybe weren't right. But most of the time I'm very proud, right, that I served my country. And I felt like I was on, the right side. But the narrative has changed, right? And we're starting to look at people who are engaging in this violent behavior as actually the winners. So their barbarism is okay because those victims don't belong to the right side of their narrative. And I think that's what's starting to happen. I think social media is actually igniting that on fire, if you will. And that's really creating this environment where it's okay and normalized to be violent.
Well, you were on the right side, and you still are. And but thank you for coming on the show as much as you do. And I'm glad, by the way, that you made it to see your family today. Your husband should take care of everybody on the way home, but that's the only thing we'll say. Thanks, Tracy. And you shouldn't have to go through that either. Thanks so much for watching. Just go to joinnn.com to find NewsNation on your television provider. And don't forget to click the red subscribe button below to get more of NewsNation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.